Shalom Akim, Shalom. Before we get started with this lesson, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Double honors to the high priest elders that were before them. Peace and salutations to you sincere brothers out there pushing this word with all sincerity and in truth. We're the brothers from Great Millstone, the camp of Austin, Texas. Coming back with another live lesson. And on the call, I got the brother Kassad.
Shalom.
The brother Ban Malak.
Shalom.
And the brother Yaradan.
Shalom.
The spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the Lord has allowed us to get back on the call, a Thursday live lesson, to bring forth edification, okay, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. We're going to go into the book of Obadiah, okay, because the book of Obadiah is a very important book in the Old Testament, a small, short book, strictly announcing judgment on the nation of Edom. And the nation of Edom is still around in this time, as other people might not want to say. Regardless of what people say, the nation of Edom is still here, and his judgment is pending. Okay, so if brothers don't have anything to add on, if we can go ahead and grab the book of Obadiah.
This is Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord power concerning Edom.
God. So the vision of Obadiah concerning Edom, right? And if a brother can we get the word in the Blue Letter Bible, Obadiah, because which goes into a servant of Yahweh. If brother can get it in the Blue Letter.
I got it for you right here. This phone's H5662. Obadiah. And it means servant of Yahweh.
God, the water, brother. Yeah, so Obadiah is the Hebrew way of saying Obadiah. Okay, and a servant of Yahweh. All right, and we understand in the book of Amos, chapter 3, if a brother can get that also, Amos chapter 3, verse 7, verse 6 and 7.
I got it.
Come on, brother.
It's Amos chapter 3 and 7. It says, surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants, the prophet.
The secret is being revealed to his servants, the prophets in Obadiah, servant of Yahweh. Well, he got a vision concerning the nation of Edom. So the mystery has been revealed to Obadiah, the vision, okay, concerning the nation of Edom. And can we get Genesis chapter 36 real quick, verse 1?
Come on, brother. I got it.
Come on, brother. You got it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 36 and verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
God. So Esau is Edom. All right, which the word, brother, if you can grab that on the Blue Letter Bible and go into that word Edom, just to put clarification on it. That's a point. Which the word Edom means red, Adawam in the Hebrew. So this is what it's all about. Edom signifying red, which we understand the nation of Edom today, right? Because the mysteries have been revealed to the prophets. The nation of Edom today is a self-proclaimed white race, which we understand they ain't really white. They are a red people. That's what their nation means, red. All right, which when you go into this, Esau being the forefather of Edom, right? Esau is a twin brother of Jacob, and Jacob is another word. Well, Jacob's name was changed to Israel, which the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So it is really important to know this chapter first and foremost, because this is talking about the enemy of the Israelites, the Edomites. So this vision that was given to Obadiah is a pending judgment. It's a judgment being announced to the nation of Edom. How the Lord ultimately is going to punish the nation of Edom. So if we can read Obadiah, the first verse again, Baba Shah.
I got one right quick.
Come on, brother.
This is Revelation 6:4. It says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword." So, as the brother is going into beautifully, who is Esau? You know, what you go into Esau in the Hebrew is Ishashua, which means wasted away is he. Because when he was born with no pigmentation. His blood showed forth through his skin. All right, so he's like transparent to a certain extent. But man, he was born not looking like everybody else that was born in that time. He came out with the mark of Cain upon him. All right, but in the same spirit that Cain had dwelling in him, Esau has dwelling in him as well. But in the book of Revelation 6:4, it talks about a red horse. Esau is that red horse, and who was given power to take peace from the earth. So as long as Esau is in rulership, as the scripture says, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. All right. So as long as the wicked have rulership of the earth, there will be no peace. So all right, because he was given this world to take peace off of this world. And it says, in that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword, and that sword is a blessing. Esau has a culture of war and violence and killing. He's a violent man, the scriptures talks about, very prideful. And so, inside these scriptures talks about he who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. So the burden of Edom is coming upon him. This is what the prophet Obadiah is speaking of right now. The recompense, the righteous recompense of Esau in the scriptures and everything. What you got, brother?
No, that's an excellent point, because in Revelation 6:4, it doesn't really tell you, oh, this is Edom, right? It's just giving you like a metaphoric type of way, representing the nation of Edom, right? Because it tells you about the red horse, like you brought out, the red power, that power that was given unto Edom, right? In Revelation 6:4, you can prove that's Esau, because if a brother can get Genesis chapter 27 and start off in verse 38, I believe it's verse 38 through 40 real quick, it goes into the blessing that was given to Esau, which is Edom, ultimately. And this ties in beautifully with Revelation 6:4. Go ahead, you got it.
Book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 38. You want to start at verse 38, correct?
Yes, come, bro.
And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac
earth, the basically having control of the earth, having the resources and all that of the earth, and it says, and the dew of heaven. So ultimately, all the stuff you see from airplanes, all Esau was blessed with the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. So he had ultimate, basically, in a way, not ultimate control, but in some type of way, Isaac blessed him with a very important blessing.
Right.
You got it, brother.
Right, because if I may, it's evidence that shows who Esau is right now.
God.
Because he will be living off the fatness of the earth, the dew of the heavens. He will have these what you call good living dwelling spaces on earth. He'll be living it up, so to speak. Out here. This is what Esau is doing. He's in his blessing. He's in his kingdom, for the most part, and it's only was given to him for a short time. And we see that time is ending, or has ended, in this time in which we're living in. But you got it, brother.
God. And if I may add, I believe, Babylon, right, which is the dwelling place of Edom, has around like 800 military bases, or 750 through 800 military bases throughout the whole earth, man, throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Just to show you that, they've been blessed with the fatness of the earth. In the dew of heaven, you can see his blessing, his artillery, his technology, right? All that belongs to Esau because of the blessing that he was given. But you got it, bro, on verse 40.
Right, I pulled it up, and it said it was 750 military bases in more than 80 countries and territories worldwide.
Come on, brother.
Yep.
And that's just to show you the blessing, right? That's the fatness of the earth. Ain't no other nation doing what Edom is doing when it comes to his military, when it comes to all that stuff. Esau fulfills the having the fatness of the earth. You got it, brother.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27, and verse 40. And by the sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
God. And the point is, in verse 40, that it says, and by thy sword shalt thou live. But you see how this specific verse ties in with Revelation 6 and 4. So like in Revelation 6 and 4 regarding the red horse. Right? So when you tie in Edom, which means red, and the horse significant to power, you understand that Revelation 6 and 4 goes back all the way to when Esau received his blessing here in verse 40 that we read, that he was, by thy sword shalt thou live, and Revelation 6 and 4 tells you that he was given a great sword, and he was given to take peace away from the earth because of the sword, because the sword ultimately goes into an instrument of death, or death. Ultimately, that's what the sword is, instrument of judgment and so on. And throughout the history of Edom, you can tell he was blessed with the sword, man, because when you go into his history, that's how he dominated mostly that's how he overcame and conquered certain people through his blessing.
God.
Go ahead, you can get verse 41, and then we'll take it back to Obadiah, unless brothers had anything else.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27, and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
God. So Allah, he Prince Power, all right, which is speaking about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So Esau, Edom, being the self-proclaimed white man, which we understand they are the red people, right? He hated Jacob because of the blessing, and to this day, Esau has still kept his words as in the ancient times when he said that then will I slay my brother Jacob, which is when you go into which we're gonna go back to Obadiah. It goes into Edom receiving part of his judgment because of the hatred he has towards his twin brother Jacob. But we can get back to Obadiah.
This is Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye.
Salaki, brother. Ambassadors or representative and envoy is sent among the heathen. You got it, brother.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
So this is part of the message, right? That they're going to rise against Edom in battle, right? After we know that Edom was blessed with the sword. Now we know that Edom was given a great sword and was given to take peace from the earth. Now the nations basically are going to rise against her in battle.
Khan, if I may.
Khan, brother.
All right. The brother's spot on because it says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. So the prophets, once again, this message has went out. If a brother can grab that in the scriptures, which it talks about how this gospel will be preached into the entirety of the world, and then the end will come. All right, because these heathen nations have heard what we're speaking. All right, they have heard that this man Esau is the devil the Bible speaks of, that only comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Who else is operating in that type of mannerisms right now? That characteristics. All right, you got it, brother.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So this gospel has went out into all nations. All right, and this is what's bringing upon the end of Esau's kingdom. So this ambassador from these other heathen nations, they are talking to each other, amongst each other, and saying, as the scripture says, that we can't tolerate this shit no more. We can't keep on living like this, man. We have to do something else. All right, so the nations are mad. You got it, brother. Tell them what.
Khan. No, yeah, Khan, brother. If we can go back to Obadiah.
Chapter 1. Yep. Verse 1.
This is Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen.
Khan.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Verse 2.
Verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
Khan. And not only, when you look at all the heathens, man, right, from Moab, Ammon, all the other nations, all the other 70 nations, right? Esau has been made he's, according to the scriptures, he's the base man. So he's the lowest of all the heathens, man. He's the scum out of all the heathens. He's the most profane one, according to Hebrews chapter 12. All right, so in that type of way, Esau has been made weak, right? The Lord is going to make Esau weak, the weakest out of all the heathens. just have a child or two, right? So Esau is really small compared to all the heathens, and they say, "Thou art greatly despised." And you can even tie that to today, in today's time, because Edom is still around, right? You can see all the nations despising Babylon the Great, right? Which is being ruled, which is the dwelling place of Esau, Edom.
Right.
This is modern day Mount Seir. This is modern day Basra, right? Which Basra was the capital of Edom. Okay, so you see these nations, right? Middle Eastern nations. You got South American nations. They're all rising up right now against Edom. He's
Right.
being greatly despised right now.
I got one. It says Jeremiah 51:7. It says Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore, and the nations are mad. So Babylon, once again, is America within these scriptures. And it's been a golden cup, meaning that it's been lifted up, something to look upon. But what's in that cup is what the nations are mad about, which is the ideologies and philosophies of wickedness that Esau pushes throughout the earth. There's nothing but enchantments, just going into Satanism, do as thou want, pushes the LGBT alphabet gang situation, feminism, all this all these things that are contrary to life when it comes down to it, that promote death. It says, so all the nations, it says, so all the earth drunken, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore, and the nations are mad. So they see that there's can no life come up out of it, following after Esau. You know, this is Job 30:8, and then you got it back, Tazamach. It says, there were children of fools, yea, children of base men, they were viler than the earth. So following after this base man, this child of a fool who is viler than the earth, would only make you a base man, make you viler than the earth and everything. And so these other heathen nations are mad, man. And ultimately, the fake J double O's, Amalek, I believe the brother had made mention. They are greatly despised right now, because that's the chief house of Edom, and they're supposed to be some God's chosen people and everything. They're Satan's chosen people when it comes down to it. All right, that's operating on the left hand side through the spiritual demon Satan, and so the nations are mad because they have taken hold of Satan, and that's why they're calling him Hell Satan right now in the Middle East and all throughout the earth. You got it, brother.
Con, because just to add more to your point concerning Amalek, that's a very important. You got Amalek is the scriptures in the Genesis 36. It goes into the dukes of Edom, and the duke goes into a chief, and it mentions Amalek in Genesis 36 being a duke of Edom. So Amalek, which brother mentioned, the J double O's, they have a big important role right now concerning Edom. The way Edom operates, the way Edom is being despised, has a lot to do with Edom's chiefs, which Amalek, right, being the J double O's, they've been pushing all kinds of, horrific stuff, man, genocidal ways, lying. He's basically the red horse at an extreme level right now, man. Taking peace from the earth. There's no peace in the Middle East right now because of Edom, because of his blessing, though, the sword. But just to add more to your point, regarding Amalek, that's a duke of Edom. That's a chief. So he's calling the shots right now when it comes to the nation of Edom.
That's right, and that's why these lower class Edomites over here in America are saying the J double O's will not replace us. All right, because they fed up with the oppression, ultimately of being at the bottom of so-called whiteness. You know, they see Amalek just doing what the hell they want to do on this earth because ultimately that's the chief house. They're ruling over all these countries right now of Esau, and they can't do nothing about it at this point in time. But this is part of the reason why the nations are mad and everything. And what, like the brother has said, may mention, I believe earlier in the lesson or before the lesson started, but this is proof to show that Esau or the house of Edom or the Edomites are still on earth right now. All right, because you're seeing the wicked doing what the wicked will be doing in this time frame. This is the evidence that points to how the Lord is making war, with Amalek or making war with Esau, and how he has a pending judgment ultimately to come and rid them off the face of the earth. That's their pending. That's their judgment. They're going to be cleansed off the face of this earth sooner or later after they've reaped what their soul went into slavery, as we're going to go into in these scriptures. But not to jump the gun, let me go ahead and grab this Exodus 17 and 16. It says, "For he said, because the Lord Yahweh our power have sworn that the Lord our power Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." So the Lord is at war with this demon right now, and he's always been at war with Amalek. So they try to say Esau is not on earth right now. Well, Esau's here. He's doing what Esau would be doing. The 12 tribes of Israel are here, and so are all these other heathen nations, and everybody's doing what they are, supposed to be doing on earth right now, standing in their lot. You got it, brother.
Gone, brother. No, that's right, because, like you quoted, the Lord shall have war against Amalek from generation.
God.
That does show that Edom was still around, basically, because Amalek is a chief. And this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. So Amalek must be here in this generation time around. But, come on, brother. If we can hit verse 3 in Obadiah.
This is Obadiah, verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
So the pride of the heart of Esau has deceived him, right? The pride of his which heart goes into mind, right? So the inner thoughts of Esau's pride, man, is deceived him. He's been blessed with a sword, with the fatness of the earth, with the dew of heaven. He's been blessed with mighty things. All right, so his blessing, the way he operates, right? He's been given a great sword. It's gotten him to believe himself to be something more than he is. So it says, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, right? Thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, which is going into basically Mount Seir, right? Because the cleft of the rock, when you go into ancient Mount Seir, which today is Mount Seir today is known as Petra. When you Google this Petra, you can see what it's going into the cleft of the rock, right? Mount Seir. It says, whose habitation is high, who hath said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So Esau is in a prideful way thinking he's untouchable. He's got a strong military. He's got all his strong blessings. He feels untouchable. Right? Who shall bring me down to the ground? Basically. Go ahead, bro. Verse 4.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, then will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh.
And just to add to that, thou exalt thyself as the eagle. When you go into Edom, which Edom, his kingdoms, right, were Spain, Great Britain, France, the Greeks, the Romans, right? it all, even the Germans, right? Those were all kingdoms of Esau at one point. They all they all had an eagle when it came to their flags, right? Their banners, their certain significance. They all carried a specific logo, and it all went back to an eagle. And that's just by doing research, you can find that eagle goes back to Edom. So it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, which is going into, his NASA, right? His satellite up in space and so on, which that was around NASA, him going up in space under the name of NASA, was the year 1970.
Right.
It says, then will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh.
Which,
So with that, Con, you got it, brother.
just to say, yeah, that's going into that Apollo 11,
Mm-hmm.
which was the first space flight to land humans on the moon, so they say, conducted by NASA from July 16 to 24 to 1969, which was a very significant year because that's around the time High Priest Abba Bibbins came upon the scene, and came with this good news, letting us know who we are, the Negro, Hispanic, Native American Indians. We're the children of Yahweh, Yasharallah, he princes of the power, but he also let us know who they are, the Edomites, man. And so it was the end of their empire because we was coming out of that dead-like estate. A brother grab that Revelations 11:11 right quick. I'll hold your thought, Tazamach, because this was the end of Esau's kingdom. Things was going downhill. Esau was living the good life. You know what I'm saying? Doing what he wanted to do. All the way up 1960. This is what he's trying to get back to. Early 1960s, when he could just do what he wanted to do. 50s, 40s, 30s, on down. You got it, Bond.
On the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Right. So after 3 days and a half, that's 350 years without the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of who we are, being in that dead-like estate, being called Negroes, Hispanic, Native American Indians, Mexicans, everything under the sun, but the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. So we were in a dead-like estate, 350 years, and then the spirit of life had to come back into us, which is this truth that High Priest Abba Bibbins came in the name of. All right, the Holy Spirit. And once that spirit breathed upon us, it stood us back upon our feet. You got it, brother. You hit that again.
God. Book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
That's right.
Okay.
And great fear, fell upon those who saw us. All right, they seen us coming out of that dead-like estate, not calling ourselves black and African Americans, but hey, man, we're Hebrew Israelites. Is what we start calling ourselves. So this brought fear unto the Edomites because this was a sign that showed that it was their end. All signs point to the end of Esau's kingdom, and it's been going on for a while right now. You got it, brother Tazamach.
Con. Yeah, and in Revelation 11 and 11, that great fear fell upon them. Just to add a little bit more, Edom's included in that list because when you go to Psalms 83, it tells you about the enemies of the Lord, which ultimately are the enemies of the nation of Israel. And Edom is included in that list of enemies. So, after 3 days and a half in 1969, 1970, great fear fell upon mostly the nation of Edom. Because, the earth is given unto him. The earth is given unto the hands of the wicked. So when the wicked saw the righteous, right, stand back up in their feet, they knew it was a game over. And that's exactly what Obadiah is speaking on in that specific verse.
Fine, brother. Don, you hit that precept?
The verse 4 again.
Come on, brother.
This is Obadiah, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, then will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh.
God. So yeah, thence will I bring thee down. 1969, 1970. Right when NASA Apollo 11 supposedly the whole mission, which NASA, when you go into that word, it means deceive. So Esau is he's a great deceiver, right? Deceived all nations, saying that he went up to the moon, he did this, he did that. Which don't really matter at the end of the day. But that's part of the vision that Obadiah saw is, hey, that's the time when the Lord said, I will bring thee down. And it started with, brother went into Elder High Priest Abba Bivens. The prophets were back on the scene, bringing down Esau Edom, condemning him, exposing him. But you could get verse 5 off.
This is Obadiah, verse 5. If thieves come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
Mm-hmm.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Con, so that's going into so it's basically saying if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, it says some grape gatherers leave some grapes. It's basically saying, hey, you're gonna basically get cut off. They're not gonna leave no leftovers. Because usually when you overcome, they'll have the spoils. Which it goes into the word booty, the spoils. Right. Well, it's saying if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? So they wouldn't leave you anything. Basically, Edom would be wiped out completely. In other words.
Right. I mean, no mercy. No mercy is gonna be. No mercy is gonna be shown to Esau, because he has showed no mercy when it comes down to it. All right.
Come on, brother.
Yep.
Go ahead, bro. You could get a verse 6.
Obadiah, verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things thought up?
God, so how are the things of Esau searched out, right? How are his hidden things thought up? The things Esau does, the wicked things, the crafty, wicked things Esau be doing. How are the things of Esau searched out, and how are his hidden things thought up? Well, ultimately, going back to what? Amos 3 and 7, all the mysteries, all the secrets, the truth has been exposed, has not been exposed, have been given to the prophets, man, to the servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So the servants, ultimately, the prophets, would be exposing Esau in due time, right? Exposing all his hidden things, all his wicked deeds, his wicked past, his wicked history, and the way he operates and moves. Everything, the scriptures go into, the everything that shall be done in the dark shall come to light. Well, Esau's wicked deeds, his wicked ways have been come to light. And even in today's time, man, you got all these Edomites being exposed. His, horrific stuff that he's done to the Israelites being exposed. All kinds of, certain churches, cemeteries being, brought up, that they got certain indigenous people buried in the back for hundreds of years. All the things of Esau are being brought up today. They're being brought to light because he is ultimately the wicked.
Right.
And Con, you got it, brother.
Don, and just want to back you up right quick in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. Start at verse 2. It says, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. All right. And the vision, once again, is the same vision that the prophet Obadiah has seen, which is the prophecies that are written inside these scriptures. All right. So that he may run that readeth it. So he may go and preach these things, lift up the banner in Babylon. All right. Tell Babylon about the burden that's getting ready to befall it. All right. So it says, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So, we understand that the Lord inspired the prophets of old to write these things down upon tables, write these things inside the scriptures. 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, and it will not tarry. As the brother's going into, Esau is being revealed in this time frame for being the wicked the Bible speaks of. All right, which is another indicator to show that we are in the end, because the devil has been revealed. But 4 says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright. So we're seeing that Esau's soul is not upright. His spirit that is within him is not upright. But it says, but the just shall live by faith. And we're living by faith because we're going out preaching this truth when it comes down to it. All right, we're doing what the Bible tells us to do, living an obedient life and disciplined life according to these scriptures. But Esau is living a wicked life, as the scriptures said he would be living, man. So things are lining up as the Bible said they would be lining up. You got it, brother.
Can we read? You got it, brother. You got it, bro.
We'll go to the book of Psalms chapter 10, and we'll read verse 2. And it reads, the wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. And we know that wicked is Rapha, and it goes into what? The ungodly. And we know that Obadiah is talking about the ungodly. He's talking about Esau, because Esau is what? He's profane outside the temple. That goes to ungodly as well. So we know that Obadiah is talking about Esau, Edom, the ungodly, and he's wicked. And again, Psalms 10 and 2, the wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined.
Wow.
And we know that the major device that he's coming up with is that MOT to the B, that's spoken of in the book of Revelation 13 and 16. And these are, and Obadiah, Esau, they the only nations not promised mercy from the Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai. So we know that we read prophecy right now concerning Esau.
Brother, beautiful points. I got one to back you up, Bond. This is Micah 2 and 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand, man. And so this is Esau. This is what he's doing in this time frame. And the Lord is not going to allow his craft or his device to prosper at all. But he's out here trying to think of more ways to make the inhabitants of the earth, especially the elect of the house of Israel, go off. All right, the house of Israel go off, and it's just not going to happen. The elect are not going to bow their knee, because the Lord has reserved them. At the end of the day, preserved them, and it's with this truth. Because wisdom, knowledge, and understanding shall be the stability of our times. All right, this faith in this gospel, the Holy Spirit, is what's going to guide us in these time frames that Esau is trying to do his best, meaning do his worst, promote and exalt his wickedness. But the elect are going to be good in this time frame. But you got it, brother.
John. Can we get verse 7 in the book of Obadiah?
This is Obadiah, verse 7. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
God.
The men.
And, that's going into his allies. Confederacy, a league, or allies. So, go ahead, bro. You can read that precept again.
Obadiah, verse 7. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Mm-hmm.
The men that were at peace with understanding in him.
So ultimately, all the allies of Edom, right, which Edom's dwelling place right now is Babylon the Great, America. So you go into what the allies of Babylon, you know, they which, you know, major allies of Babylon. You got NATO, right, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and you got some in the European Union. All right, those are basically Edom as a whole, but those are the allies of basically Babylon the Great. So when it comes to verse 7, it's basically going into, you know, Esau is going to get basically betrayed, right? All the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and they prevailed against thee, right? So ultimately, this is part of the judgment that we are witnessing right now, because even when you go in today's time, right, regarding Edom, you got a couple of his allies speaking against Edom and how he operates right now, not in accord, right? Some are with Edom, some allies are with their plans, and some are against, right? So you know, we're witnessing these the allies, the Confederate, all the men of the Confederacy, basically deceiving Esau, Edom, in today's time.
I want to back you up. This is Revelation 17 and 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." All right. And the beast is that system that the brothers was going into, these other European countries and everything, and kings. All right. And it says, they shall hate the whore. The whore is Babylon the Great, America. All right. Which is that great whore. And it says, "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Man, this is thus say the Lord in the scriptures. This is prophecy. All right. That we're seeing playing out right now. Because you see what the EU is doing over there, NATO. They're looking at Babylon the Great, America, like, man, y'all are a bunch of pieces of shit. Y'all are funding all this mass murderers and wars that's going on the earth right now. You all are not about peace like y'all say y'all are about. All right? So therefore, man, the nations are mad once again. You got it, brother.
No comment, brother. Beautiful point. Can we get let me see, okay, verse 8?
Yep.
Obadiah, verse 8. "Shall I not in that day, said the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?"
So yeah, the even the wisest men out of so basically Edom is going to be. They say that at that time, not a single person is going to be left in the whole land of Edom. Basically, all right. The next. Go ahead, bro. You got the next verse.
Hold on, brother. All right, quick, if I may. It says, "And shall not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of Mount of Esau," because they see how things is going bad, right? We bring out that Ecclesiastes chapter 12, how the future is darkened and everything. Things are not going as planned as Esau has wanted to go plan. That's why they're talking about make America great and everything. Things are not being great. Things are just continuously getting worse and worse on the face of this earth, that America's friends, or this place's friends, Babylon's friends, have turned against them. All right. And so now they're seeing the writing on the wall, you know, and just as in those days, they're seeking out all the procrastinators, you know, the enchanters, the wise men, to try to figure out what's going on. As it said, is Esau, they're wearied in a multitude of their sorceries or whatnot. They're trying to figure this out. So you got at this time all sorts of witchcraft happening. They're doing all sorts of what do you call it? Blood magic, sex magic, you know, sacrifice. They're doing all sorts of things trying to get their America or back Babylon the Great back on track, but they're not going to be able to do anything. All right, they're going to say there's no wisdom in teaming, because nothing they do is going to fix the state that they're in. All right. This is Isaiah 47:12. It says, "Stand now in thy enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, where thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly procrastinators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee." All right. Behold, and this is the Lord basically taunting Esau, as it says. And the Lord, it says, "Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom?" So he's destroying the wise man out of Teman or Edom, because nothing they do is profiting in this time frame. All right. Isaiah 47:14. It says, "Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before." Man, that's cold. That's what the scriptures say. All right. And so we're seeing this playing out. Esau is having all these backroom meetings trying to figure out what's the next move. As you see, they got to open up the government right now, because they're putting out the Epstein files on the T-Man. You know, they saying that, well, as long as you keep it closed, as long as you don't do what we want, we're gonna put out some more of these emails with your name on it. And so now he's talking about $2,000 for everybody. You know, everybody getting stamps back. Everything. You know, Merry Christmas. You know, shit's looking bad for Babylon the Great, man. All right, things are not going their way right now. All right, but you got it. Yep, you got it.
I got a precept to let back on what you're speaking on regarding the wise men. This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 19. It says, "And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." And to the point that they say the beauty of the Chaldees, and the Chaldees is going into the sorcerers, right? So the wise men, basically, sorcerers. You got it, like the brother mentioned, the astrologers, right? So just to land back on that, on what you were speaking on, the wise men. Isaiah 13 and 19 tells you about those wise men also being linked to the beauty of the Chaldees, the sorcerers, and all that. They can't. Their craft ain't working, basically.
Right.
The wise men out of Edom is basically being destroyed, like you were speaking on, Ak.
Got it. Time brother.
But yeah, it said shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, which was by fire and brimstone. So ultimately, these wise men ain't gonna, their craft, whatever they're gonna do, their sorcery rituals, it ain't gonna stop this overthrow, as the ancient times of it's being compared, basically, this overthrow of Babylon to the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, which was by fire and brimstone.
Got it.
But
Y'all done.
It's called drop.
Okay.
Con.
Let's see. Can you pick off where that brother left off at? I'm gonna call that brother back right quick.
I got a precept as well, real quick.
1 second.
As well.
Con, you got it, brother.
We're gonna look up this word Teman. The book of Isaiah, this is Jeremiah chapter 49, and verse 7. Slovakia. It says, counsel perish from the prudent, his wisdom vanished. And we know that Teman, so like you, Strong's H8487, it says Teman, outline of biblical usage, it says south, but he is the son of Eliphaz, grandson of Esau, one of the dukes of Edom.
Yep.
And the brother spoke about the dukes of Edom in Genesis, the 36th chapter, when he told you about Esau. So we know that Esau, Edom, they supposed to be the wise men of the land when we talk about Teman. It's always referring back to Esau. It says, in the Strong's definition, it says Teman, the name of two Edomites and of the region and the descendants of one of them. South Teman.
Beautiful, brother. John.
We'll go back to the book of Obadiah.
You are done. You got it.
This is Obadiah from verse 10
9.
for that Bible. Oh, verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mouth of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
God, so the mightiest warriors of Teman ultimately, terrified, right? And let me see, we were in verse 8. Well, yeah, verse 9. The mighty men of Teman shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. So the mightiest warriors of Teman ultimately will be terrified, and Teman is going into the wise men also, because out of Edom, the Teman came the smiths, right, which are the so-called in other words, the scientists. They made their swords and all that, their weapons, engineering. They had wise men out of Teman, which are basically, you go into the Germans. After World War II, you had Russia and Babylon basically fight over the wise men of Teman, right, the scientists. And so verse 10, verse 9, basically all the house of Esau is going to basically get cut off by slaughter, man. Even the wisest of them all, the mighty men of Teman.
Right. I got one. This is Psalms 137 and 7. It says, Remember, O Lord Yahweh, the children of Edom, and the day of Jerusalem, who said, Erase it, even to the foundation thereof. So erase it. The house of Jerusalem, or the land as well. And 8 says, O daughter of Babylon, tying Esau, the Edomites, Edom, to Babylon, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee, as thou hast served us, man. So what you see happening is Esau getting ready to reap what he sowed on the face of this earth. Going to verse 9 and verse 10. Hit this verse 9 again. Yardan, read the, if you can, hit that verse again in 9. I got a precept to back it up. You got it.
Obadiah, verse 9. And that mighty man, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
So the end of Esau is to be cut off by slaughter, man. All right, that's Esau's end. That's what's going to happen. He is a fugitive, vagabond, and then his end is to be destroyed, man. The Lord has made him to be that vessel of destruction when it comes down to it. All right, this is Amos 1 and 11. It says, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. All right, and this is what we're living in right now. We still see the perpetual hatred that Esau has for his brother Jacob like the brother, like we started off with, because of the blessing. Esau got the blessing. I mean, Jacob has the blessing when it comes down to it. You know, Esau's blessing was the sword and the dew of the heavens for a short time, but ultimately, Jacob gets the blessing that's going to last eternally. You know, the kingdom. All right. So it says, Amos 1 and 12 says, "But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra." Basra is the capital of Edom. Esau's dwelling, and we understand that Teman is also the Edomites. It goes into the Edomites as well. So man, the Lord has predestinated or judged this place to be destroyed. Thus say these scriptures, man, all throughout it. And this is why the modern day Christians are just wasting their damn time and doing what they're doing because they don't understand prophecy. Written all throughout the scriptures, it talks about Edom is going to be a possession of Judah, and then they're going to be thrown into a pit to be slaughtered. You know, at the end of the day. All right, you got it, brother.
Con. Yeah, Con. Obadiah, verse 10.
It says,
You got it, bro.
Obadiah verse 10, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever."
Con. So the violence against the brother of Esau, Jacob, right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, all right? The true biblical Israelites has suffered violence through the hands of Esau, Edom. And that's a reason of this pending judgment coming upon the nation of Edom, right? Which we understand this judgment is going to get fulfilled here in Babylon the Great, which is America, man. All right, the great slaughter that this specific chapter is speaking about, them being cut off forever, ultimately, right, is going into the complete destruction, the obliteration of the nation of Edom. But it says, "For thy violence against thy brother," and we can, go into history when it goes into that violence, man. Since the ancient times, we read Genesis 27 because of the blessing. You know, Esau hated us. Esau hated Jacob. Right? He's always kept that Ezekiel 35 mentions, right? That perpetual hatred.
I got it.
Got it.
Is Ezekiel 35 and 5? It says, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, and the time of their calamity and the time of their iniquity had ended." Let's see.
God, man, you got it, bro.
It says, "Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth," man. And this is a judgment from the Heavenly Father. You got it. You got it, brother.
And you can even link this back all the way, you know, when in the ancient times, Amalek was the first, you know, which Amalek is the chief of Edom. Amalek was the first nation to go to attack the Israelites, man. Right? So this has been going on for generations. For this violence that Obadiah is speaking about, right? Which you can bring the slavery into it, right? The genocide, right, of the Northern Kingdom, right? The genocide of the Native Americans, Seminole Indians, right? The perpetual hatred shown to the so-called Negroes, you know, the lynching, burning, right? The bywords, right? The segregation, man. There's all this violence that history shows, you know, is what the scriptures is going. Basically, all that violence has add up. Now Esau, you know, your only way out is being cut off. There is no other way for Esau, Edom, but basically slaughter and complete obliteration. But it all goes back towards that perpetual hatred, ultimately, right? Because they shed the blood of the children of Israel. in the time that their calamity had an end. So ultimately, blood is going to pursue Esau because of all the bloodshed he shed, man.
That's
And
right.
Babylon the Great, America was founded basically by the blood of the Israelites, man. The bloodshed of the Israelites. Under this concrete, right, under all this stuff is the bloodshed of Israel, man. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Fine. And,
Was there a little bit more on Ezekiel? No, I believe we got it, right?
that's everything on Ezekiel. Con.
God. Okay. You know what? Can we hit? And if brothers don't have anything, can we hit a little bit on Isaiah 63, going into Yahweh Shai, because ultimately Yahweh Shai is gonna put in that work.
That's right.
He's gonna basically avenge the nation of Israel.
That's right, brother. You got it. You said Isaiah 63. You got it.
Yeah, Isaiah 63.
Book of Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 1. It say, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra?
God, and that's just to show that, like we mentioned, Edom is still around, because it's talking about somebody that is coming from Edom with dyed garments from Basra. And Basra, as we mentioned, is the capital of Edom, right? Which modern day Basra today would be Babylon the Great, which is America, the dwelling place of the Edomites. You got it, brother.
This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteous.
You got it, bro. You got it.
I that speaketh in righteousness, mighty to save.
So this is ultimately the savior of the nation of Israel, Yahweh Shai, who this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is who is coming from Edom with dyed garments from Basra. This is the return of Yahweh Shai, which goes into his glorious apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. The scriptures talk about Yahweh Shai coming with great power and glory. Right? I that speaketh in righteousness. You can link that to Revelation 19 and verse 11, because Revelation 19 and 11 tells you, if a brother can get it real quick, I don't want to quote it.
This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war.
So that's Yahweh Shai, and in righteousness, that white horse, right, that pure power, Yahweh Shai, in righteousness does he judge and make war. So you link that up with Isaiah 63 and 1, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save, which Yahweh Shai, our Lord and Savior. You could jump back to Isaiah 63 and 2.
Book of Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat?
So this is symbolic to Yahweh Shai having his garment basically stained in blood. So this is basically metaphorically speaking about what Yahweh Shai, the effect of what Yahweh Shai is going to come and do. Right? It says that his apparel is red, because of a bloodshed that Yahweh Shai is going to come and do, the destruction that he's coming to avenge the Israelites with. You got it, bro. Verse 3.
Verse 3. I have trodden down the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury.
God. So Yahweh Shai is basically doing trodden the winepress alone, and of the people that was not with me, for I will tread them in mine anger. Right, so Yahweh Shai, right, has what is that? There's a precept. I can't really that goes into Yahweh Shai basically having an indignation, right? I believe that's is that Malachi? In the indignation.
Yeah, Malachi 1 and 3 or 4, right?
God. So that's basically linking Isaiah 63 with Malachi, because Malachi goes in Malachi chapter 1 goes into Esau being the wicked, the border of wickedness, and so on. But go ahead, bro. Where we at?
I got it. You want it?
Okay, come, bro. Kasha.
This is Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh has indignation forever.
God. So you see, the Lord has indignation towards the Edomites forever. Right? So when you go to Isaiah 63 and verse 3, when it says, and trample them in my fury, so like it says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people that was not with me, for I will tread them in my anger, because that anger, you read about it in Malachi chapter 1 and 4. Right? But go ahead, bro, if you could read Isaiah 63 and 3, you can hit that again, Baba Kasha.
The book of Isaiah 63 and verse 3 from the top. I have trodden the wine presses alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment.
God, so Yahweh Shai is going to come and scriptures go into the slain of the Lord shall be many. That's basically what this precept is speaking on. The blood being sprinkled upon his garments, the significance to the slaughter that Yahweh Shai is going to come and do towards the nation of Edom. You got it, bro.
Verse 4. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come.
God. So the day of vengeance is in Yahweh Shai. Vengeance belongs to our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai. Right? In the year of my redeemed has come, the Lord is ultimately coming to redeem the elect of the nation of Israel, first and foremost. Right? But point being that vengeance belongs to Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is going to come and bring Edom down.
God, brother, you close us out with that.
Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. You wanted to go into Obadiah, the vision, right? The pending judgment on the nation of Edom, which we understand the dwelling place of Edom is Babylon the Great. So, Lord willing, the edification went out. We want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakat, Badash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Double honors to the high priest elders that were before them. Peace and salutations to sincere brothers out there pushing this word with all sincerity and truth. Until the next one, Shalom.
Shalom.